What's up, everybody? It's your boy C. Sam's, and this is That Comic Show. So, you already know what today is. It's Tuesday. My big old bag of comic books. I'm gonna pull out a comic book, and if you don't know, well, you should probably go back and check out the other two videos that I made. This is Comic Book Tuesday. Basically, a Comic Book Tuesday, I pull out a comic book from that big black bag, and I pull out a comic. And today's comic is called Cyberforce. Cyberforce. It looks like that this was made by Top Cow Universe, Image Comics. There you go, Image Comics. So, based on this Cyberforce, I'm already thinking Air Force, Army, military, and as soon as I turn the page, what do I see? An army and the military. It looks like that they are in a war. This is back in '91 in Saudi Arabia. This looked like this is '91 in Saudi Arabia. The final days of the Operation Desert Storm. So if anybody knows about Desert Storm took place in the early '90s. It was a big deal. All types of stuff. I was a kid back then. I really didn't care nothing about that war stuff. But, you know, for those who are a little bit older who could remember, I'm sure that it was very impactful for you and your family. Actually, now that I think about it, my sister was almost a part of Desert Storm when she joined the military, but that's another story for another day. We take a look at some of this work. Now, as always, we got to check out the ink work. Now, based on what I'm seeing here, the ink work is very, very inky, textile type of imagery. It looks like looks more like watercolors, to be honest with you. But this comic book, from what I'm seeing, is a very graphic comic book. My man got shot in the arm, got shot in the face. It's very bloody, very gruesome. We look more into this, and yeah, this is very wartime. So for those who are military veterans who have seen war firsthand, we have seen people get shot, people's side of their faces blown off because of bombs. This comic book is very graphic, and it shows you what's going on. These men are there in the middle of this war, and there's one particular man who had his arm blown off. His arm actually looks a little metallic. It looks gold, actually. He looks like that he's probably cybernetic, Cyberforce. There's a team of doctors around him kind of looking at him. Look like that they're monitoring him. It looks like that everything that is going on, this is 3 years later, they're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the Cyber Data Plaza. And it looks like that they've been working on these things for quite some time. Hey, take a look at this. The actual guy who got his face blown off, or the side of his face blown off, is here, and he looks like that he's back together. They put some pieces on him, and it looks like that there are other characters. There's a guy with a third arm, with 3 arms, other metallic people, and it looked like that they shot the head doctor, and almost it looks as though that they are rebelling. And they have a team of different people who have been cybernetically engineered, and like it says, Cyberforce. So it looks like an uprising of what's going on here. There are some powerful characters that we're seeing here as well. This looks pretty cool. There's a generic army, as we always see in a comic book. There's some nude people with two-tone skin. I don't understand what that means, but it looks like that they're stepping into a type of dome, and they are getting, I guess, suited up to go into this deep abyss. A lot of things going on in this comic book. It looks as though that after the war in Saudi Arabia, Desert Storm, it looks like that these teams were put together. These people were engineered. They could have been previous soldiers who were wounded on the field, and they were tampered with. Scientists wanted to make them better, stronger, and it looks like that one particular character has broken out of her protective shell, and she is hungry, and it looks like that she is hungry for people. And that concludes our comic. Now, Cyberforce, just based on the cover alone, you see a character who we see at the end of this comic book who breaks out. Cyberforce looks like a pretty decent storyline, pretty decent comic. I love the ink work. I love the work of, I love the colors, very watercolor-like. Colors are kind of blending in with each other. I love that. This was written by Marc Silvestri and Marco Tunani. I probably butchered those names, sorry if I did. But once again, the comic looks pretty good. Image Comics made this. You know, that's about it, really. So if you like comics that talks about war and shows graphic reality of war, check out this comic book. This is the comic for you. Once again, this is your boy Sam's. This is Comic Tuesday. Go out there and support your comic book store, your closest comic book store. Every Tuesday they restock their comic books, so go out there and get yourself some comic books. I'm gonna take a read of this, and I'll catch you guys later. Sam's out.